Hi, I'm Dave Epstein and welcome to this edition of Growing Wisdom. Today we're going to talk about preparing your plants for winter. So many of you, if you're like me, you bring your house plants outside during the course of the summer, but you've got to get them inside if you live in a cold climate. So we have this plant here, which is a tropical plant, and we've kept this going for several years in the house. But the way I prepare my plants to go inside is by treating them with insecticide. Now, as you know, we're organic here when we grow food at Growing Wisdom, but I don't want bugs inside my house, so I do use an insecticide on the house plants. So the first thing that I do is I treat the soil with an insecticide. So this particular insecticide is systemic. In other words, the poison, that's what it is, it goes inside the plant, and then any bugs which eat the leaves will die. So this will not allow an infestation of bugs in the house later on this winter. So we've read the directions, and you really want to follow the directions. You do not want to put more insecticide down than you need, because if you do, you're apt to cause some sort of toxicity to the plant itself. So I always like to wear gloves when I'm working with this particular insecticide, and we're going to put down 3 tablespoons of it, and that's what it calls for with the directions. And then we're going to mix this around a little bit to work it into the soil. As we water the plant during the course of the next several weeks, this will work its way in. I always do this about 4 weeks before the plants are going to come inside. Now, another issue I have with plants during the course of the year is I get something called fungus gnats. And fungus gnats are a tiny little annoying fly. They're really generally not harmful to the plant, but boy, you see those little flies flying around all winter long, and I don't really like them. So what we've got here is just some coarse ornamental sand. So if you put the sand right on top of the plant, the fungus gnats have a really hard time laying their eggs in the soil. So just a thin layer covering all of your nice soil there. Now, this isn't 100% foolproof. Works pretty well, and it looks real nice. And then the last thing we're going to do, we're going to use a horticultural oil. This is an all-season spray oil, and we're just going to spray the plant. And what this will do is it will kill some bugs, but it will also smother any of the eggs that are on there. And I really want to get this nice and soaked. You don't want to ever use a horticultural oil in the sun because it can burn the plants, so I've waited until the sun went behind the trees here. There's not the same toxicity with the horticultural oil as there is with the systemic granules, so if you don't want to use the systemic granules, you can just use horticultural oil. You just have to be on top of it. So this two-pronged approach for me works pretty well, using the systemic in the soil, the horticultural oil above, waiting a couple of weeks, then moving them inside, and I'm generally insect-free in the house all winter long. For Growing Wisdom, I'm Dave Epstein.